What's up, everybody? Today is New Year's Eve 2020. I think this end of the year is one that everyone's been looking forward to more than any other recent years, basically. I mean, like, individual people have had bad years in the past, like some, like let's see, what's another year I wasn't a big fan of? 2015, actually, yeah, I think 2015 was probably the worst recent year I can think of for me, personally. So I wasn't looking forward to 2015 ending, or I was looking forward to 2015 ending, but I'm sure there were a lot of people out there who enjoyed 2015 a lot more than I did. So, is that. I mean, like there were still positive aspects of 2015, but overall 2015 was not a very good year for me personally. So that was when I was looking forward to ending. But in terms of 2020, I think everyone's looking forward to this year ending. I mean, let's not split hairs here. But we'll get to the end of the year stuff, but first of all, I have a quick video game collection I wanted to show. Well, actually, not really quick. I've got, it's not one of my bigger collections, but it's also not one of my smaller collections, if that makes any sense. Today we're going to do the Nintendo DS. I figured I did the Virtual Boy the other day, so let's continue the train of Nintendo handhelds. And Nintendo handhelds have actually been pretty consistently successful over the years, sans Virtual Boy, obviously, but yeah, for the most part, if Nintendo's current home console wasn't doing well, they usually have a handheld that's going alongside it to kind of help them stay above the water. And the DS was no exception. This is the DS Lite. Actually, I don't have the original DS model, unfortunately, currently. But the original DS model, as far as I know, wasn't backlit, and it did not have. And it was smaller too. The screens were slightly smaller. Actually, no, it was bigger. Yeah, it was heavier than the DS Lite. That's kind of the whole point of the DS Lite is that it's lighter than the original model, and it had a backlit screen, basically. I think those are the two main differences, and I don't remember if the original model was backwards compatible with Game Boy Advance games, but this one was. And it still has a piece that goes in that you put in when there's no Game Boy Advance game in there, so yeah. So basically, now I didn't really have a big Game Boy Advance library, but, well, you'll see in a later video like how that is, but essentially, it was already a big deal. Like even if I didn't have any DS games on here, I could still play my Game Boy Advance games basically, since it had the backwards compatibility, which is a thing that I think that all consoles should have. Basically, they should always strive to have as much backwards compatibility as possible, because that way, even if people don't have any new games to play, they can still play their old games on it, which makes it more convenient. Basically, kind of adds to the convenience, sort of. So yeah, the DS Lite. I got my DS Lite for Christmas in 2006, I do believe. 2006. And I started with 2 games, and we'll get to those as soon as we get to them, because we're still going to be doing this alphabetically. But yeah, either way, my DS, I loved it, and I played a lot of games on it. Well, not a lot. I mean, you'll see my library's not that big, but yeah, I loved pretty much most of the games I played on it. And overall, I found it to be a lovely handheld, essentially. Improvement over the Game Boy Advance. I mean, like the touchscreen, yeah, it was kind of gimmicky at times for certain games, but for the most part, it's a great handheld, essentially. And eventually, in 2009, Nintendo came out with another revision, which they called the DSi. And basically, the difference is that this it had like an online service. Basically, I think like it had one of the first, well, not one of the first, but basically, you had the ability to download certain games basically through the DSi shop, I think it's called. I can't remember what it was. Or DSiWare is what it was called. DSiWare is basically the equivalent to the WiiWare, which Nintendo also had, where they had games that were exclusive to it, that were digital only. So that's what the DSi was basically. And also it had a camera, so you could take pictures and whatnot. But what I have actually is the 2010 remodel, or yeah, in 2010 Nintendo came out with the DSi XL, which is a larger version of the DSi. Now I don't have the original DSi, but instead I have my DSi XL, and I got this for Christmas in 2010. I actually have a video of a review of the DSi XL, like an unboxing review, because I actually opened the box that this was in a video back in Christmas, around Christmas of 2010. And at the time, my channel was only 1 year old, and I still didn't exactly solidify Let's Plays quite yet as my main form of content. So I was still doing reviews of consoles at the time, and one of them happened to be of the DSi XL once I got it out of the box, or as I was opening the box, essentially. So it was a very exciting time getting this thing. And I still love it, because just the fact that it had a larger screen, that already enhanced the enjoyment of all the games that I already had for the DS, basically, at that point, so... But these are the only two models I have. I don't have the original DS, and I don't have the original DSi. I think that's it for the DS models, essentially, so... Basically, I have a smaller screen and a bigger screen. So, and the advantage of having these two systems is that if they're both charged all the way, then that means I have 2 charges worth of 2 full battery charges to work with when I want to play games on a trip, basically. But these days, I don't go on trips that much, and whenever I do, I'm by myself. I'm driving, so I can't really play games unless I'm like on an airplane or at a hotel or something or whatever. So, yeah, I'm not really much of a handheld gamer myself these days, but I still look back and cherish on the games that you can play on handhelds, and I still play them every now and then because I gotta, stay ahead of the game and whatnot. Well, with the game, I suppose. So the first game alphabetically we have is 007 Quantum of Solace. I got this for Christmas in 2008. I remember my cousin got me this game, and I touched it like once because I had little to no interest in 007 essentially as a thing. And having this on a handheld just made it even more meh. Like I could see this being a really fun game on like a console or so, but on DS I don't know how they could pull it off, honestly, and I still don't know to this day because I still haven't played it much. This is probably the last DS game I have in my collection I'll ever get around to, honestly. So I'm sure it's fine, but I just don't have much interest in it myself. I'm hardly interested in first-person shooters on consoles as it is now. Like, even now, like, up to this point. But, yeah, eventually I'll have to get around to the handhelds. Next up we have Brain Age. Train your brain in minutes a day. I played this a little bit. It's kind of fun to play in small spurts, basically. It does, it says give your brain a boost, get a mental workout with brain teasers, puzzles, and more. And for what it's worth, I do appreciate the amount of, fun and brain exercising I got out of this, to put it lightly, because like it does a pretty decent job of like working your mind, essentially make you feel like you're in school, sort of. So it does what they call stimulate the brain, basically, get it working, essentially. Okay, next up we have Dogs with a Z, because that Z at the end is so stupid. I thought it was stupid with Action Girls, and I still think it's stupid with this too. So basically, this is like a bird's eye view game where you basically get a dog and you raise it as your own. And you train them to perform in games, basically. Choose from 18 different breeds, give him the best doggy life in the world, him or her. Teach your clever pooch all kinds of tricks such as sit and shake. They'll do anything to make you happy. So you can train to do tricks, you can customize your room and stuff like that. It was pretty fun for a short time, basically, but it's not that interesting. Okay, next up we have, what was it? Okay, so the next game that I would have had here, and I think I still have lying around somewhere, or I don't know if it's the copy it's missing, or if it's just the case that's missing, I don't know. But I know for a fact that I have Kirby Squeak Squad. Or maybe I just lost my copy entirely, I don't know if I do, but I don't have the case for the game anymore, and I may have lost the game itself, so I'll have to get it again at some point. Kirby Squeak Squad was the first Kirby game I played on the DS, and it took me a while to complete it, but by the time I did, I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I think it's really good, honestly, but I know that compared to a lot of other Kirby games, it's pretty meh. But for me, it was enjoyable because it's one of the first Kirby games that I completed as a middle schooler, so I have a lot of fond memories with it. I think it's a pretty good Kirby game, but I can understand people find it to be pretty meh. Next up, we have Kirby Superstar Ultra, which I found even better than Kirby Squeak Squad. This is my first experience with the Kirby Squeak Squad Kirby Superstar, actually. I played this long before I played the original Kirby Superstar on Super Nintendo. So, and I thoroughly enjoyed this because obviously it's an enhanced remake of Kirby Superstar with it's an enhanced remake on the DS. So it looks better and it's got a lot more content. It's overall a better product than the original Super Nintendo version. Next up, we have Kung Fu Panda Legendary Warriors. As I mentioned on the Wii collection, I have this on DS as well, so there it is. Not much else to say about it. I haven't played it much because it's found to be pretty meh from when I played. Next up, we have The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Now, as you know, I wasn't much of a Zelda player growing up, and I did not get far into this game, but for what it's worth, I enjoyed what I have played a bit. And I remember having a lot of fun with the multiplayer mode of this game, with Corsair Joe especially. Because I think he played through and completed this game long before I did. And this will probably be one of the earlier Zelda games that I do complete. And if I do, it'll be obviously be on the Wii U Virtual Console, because this is on there now. So if you want to play it, you can play it on the Wii U Virtual Console. If you happen to own a Wii U, that is. And it'll probably be one of the earlier Zelda games I complete, considering it's kind of a sequel to Wind Waker of sorts, because it takes place in the same universe as Wind Waker. It's got the same Toon Link that we're familiar with from that game, so it's obviously that you should probably play that game after you play through Wind Waker, but I don't know. Next up, we have The Legendary Starfy. Basically Kirby, but underwater, as Ant Dude put it, but I think it's fantastic as a standalone game I think it's fantastic as a game on its own merits. I heard about this game through the commercials, and I never heard of Starfy up to that point. I didn't know that he was a full-fledged franchise that was going on entirely in Japan up until this game came out. I think this is like the 4th or 5th game in the series, and this is the first one to released outside Japan. I've never been able to play the original Starfy games from Japan, but I'm sure I'd have a fun time with them as well. Oh, by the way, I did go through and fully complete Legendary Starfy, and I was actually originally planning on doing a walkthrough of that game way back in October of 2010. I actually posted a trailer of sorts where I was fighting the first boss of the game. So I was actually planning on doing a walkthrough of that game. I don't know if it's playable or not currently. So here's the thing. I have the game, but I don't think my copy is playable. Like, whenever I insert it into my DS, it doesn't recognize it. And I think I know why. It's because the thing is, after I complete this game 100%, I kind of went back and played it a lot with Action Replay codes. Because I went through this phase, like, especially back in 2009, where I got Action Replay, and I would use it on all of my games, because, like, it would just, I don't know, it just kind of made them a lot more fun to be able to do, like, you had to have like sort of a god mode in the games where you could just do anything you want. So that enticed me to go back and play the games again. But unfortunately, there was an unfortunate side effect to some of my games crashing or being corrupted. So yeah, Legendary Starfy is unplayable, and I think Kirby Superstar Ultra has the same issue. But I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a while since I tried it, so that might also be an unplayable copy that I have to replace. Next up, we have the most recent addition to my collection, my DS collection that is, and that is Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Haven't played this yet. I am very disappointed that it's not on the Wii U Virtual Console. Like, seriously, how could they release Mario Partners in Time on the Wii U Virtual Console, but not this? It's quite a mystery. But either way, from what I've heard, this is the best game in the Mario & Luigi series. So looking forward to getting around to it once I complete the first two. All right, next up we have Mario Kart DS. This is a game I put in a lot of time into, and especially had fun with it with the Action Replay codes. But one thing I do love about this game is that there's a lot more single player fun to this game, basically, because there's a mission mode where you can actually do certain missions where you have to do certain objectives, and it's something that they've never done any other Mario Kart game, and that alone makes it stand out above the others. But I mean, it's not the best Mario Kart game, obviously, but it's Mario Kart on the DS, so there's not really anything wrong with it or anything spectacular about it besides the mission modes. And there's also some great courses on there too, especially like Waluigi Pinball. Like, it's got a lot of great music and whatnot. So, very memorable Mario Kart game. But otherwise, it's just, it's Mario Kart on the DS. So, okay, next up we have New Super Mario Bros., the original one on the DS. And so this is another game that I played a lot growing up, and I had a lot of fun with, and I eventually completed it, got all the star coins and whatnot. And this is one I do plan on doing a Let's Play in the near future, before any of the other New Super Mario Bros. Games. And if I don't do them on this channel because they're they end up being co-ops on Unite Replay, there will still be this one, because this one is single player only, at least the adventure mode is. So there's that. Alright. Next up we have one of the first two games I ever owned on my DS growing up. It is Over the Hedge. Yep, Christmas of 2006. This is one of the two games that I got on my DS originally. So, as it is. I think this was the first DS game I ever played, actually, because I played them alphabetically. So I started with this one, and it's an interesting license game, actually. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I personally enjoyed it, and I'm actually considering doing this as my first Let's Play for a DS game, just because of the fond memories I have of this one growing up. It's a fairly simple game to complete, honestly. It doesn't take that long, so therefore it wouldn't be too much of a commitment to do that as my first DS game if I do decide to do it as my first DS game. Okay, next up we have Plants vs. Zombies on the DS. So I had already completed the PC game up to the point where I got this, and I actually stumbled across this on Black Friday 2013. I picked up this game along with SpongeBob Revenge of Flying, or Plankton's Robotic Revenge on Wii, and I had a lot more fun with this. And it's definitely a unique experience. It's different than oh wow, it's even still got the price tag on it. See, Kohl's $26.99. Actually, I don't know if that's a Black Friday special. I think that was just a regular price game, but still. Yeah, I still got the original price tag on it from Kohl's. $27, geez, for a DS game. But yeah, either way, it's still a lot of fun no matter what platform you play it on, and I will say that it's still the case with the DS version. And it's definitely, the experience is slightly different than on the PC version, because obviously the graphics are nowhere near as good. But nevertheless, it's still the same game, and it works pretty well with the touchscreen controls, actually. Okay, next up we have all these SpongeBob games. Let's go through all of them. We have SpongeBob SquarePants: The Yellow Avenger. This was the first SpongeBob DS game, and it was also released on the PSP, the PlayStation Portable. And those are the only two platforms that this is available on. So as you can imagine, I also have it on PlayStation Portable. And I have not played it yet. Well, actually, yeah, I played a little bit of it, and from what I can tell so far, the game is pretty meh. It's a 2D, from what I know, it's a 2D adventure, a 2.5D adventure of sorts, actually. It's not really 2D. Not in the same way as the older SpongeBob games were. Next up, we have Creature from the Krusty Krab. Okay, so all these SpongeBob games, the rest of them I'm about to list, I have not played yet on the DS, okay? So that's just getting that out of the way first. Atlantis SquarePantis. Although I've heard that one's actually better than the console version. Drawn to Life SpongeBob SquarePants Edition. The only Drawn to Life game I have, actually. This one looks interesting. SpongeBob versus the Big One Beach Party Cook-Off. From what I can tell, this is just a minigame collection, so probably won't take that long to get through. There's probably not much to it either. SpongeBob's Truth or Square on DS. As if it was going to be on anything else. SpongeBob's Boating Bash. This one boasts additional DSi features, so that's kind of interesting. Next up we have SpongeBob's Surf and Skate Road Trip. The only other version is on the, additional snowboarding gameplay included? Okay. Yeah, this game is also on the Xbox 360 with Kinect, so I don't know if that means that this is going to be the better version or what, because I don't know how to feel about the Kinect, because I never tried it before. And this was also the last SpongeBob game that was released by THQ, actually. THQ as it originally was. And then the last SpongeBob game on the DS, we have Plankton's Robotic Revenge. I'm sure this will be just as boring as any other version, honestly. But we'll find out eventually. Okay, next up we have Super Mario 64 DS. This was a launch title on the original DS, and I actually didn't get this until about 2008 or 2009, somewhere around there. I think it was 2009. I think I got it around the same time I got Legendary Starfy, which was also in 2009. That's when it came out, so yeah, I didn't play this until 5 years after the DS was already out, and after this game was already out, so needless to say, fantastic adventure, or fantastic game on the DS. After I finally got 120 stars for the first time on Mario 64, I eventually got the 150 stars on that game and had a great time. Okay, so now we have the last game in my collection and the second DS game that I owned originally growing up, and that was Yoshi's Island DS. I've completed this game once, but I've only I beat it twice and completed it once. So, but either way, It's definitely not as good as the original Yoshi's Island game, but I will say it's the one that I had the most experience with growing up because I had the DS, so therefore, yeah, I played that one first and not the original Yoshi's Island. I didn't even get to Super Mario Advance 3 or whichever one Super Mario World 2 is on. Yeah, I didn't get that until I got the Wii U Virtual Console one, so yeah. So that's my entire DS collection. And so now, going to this new year, I'm going to continue making these video game collection videos until I'm out of collection videos to do, and then I'll just do regular vlogs from there on out until I have my next round of Let's Plays ready, which will be 2 new games. Yeah, Sims Ascent Run obviously is going to be the one of them that's going to be completed, but I will also be introducing 2 new Let's Plays as well at the same time. And by having those 3 Let's Plays going on, they'll give me time to record the next set of Let's Plays, and if everything goes smoothly, I will consistently have Let's Play videos put out to you, but, you know, again, the only downside to doing it this way is that the commentary will not be very current on those Let's Plays, you know, it's just going to be... I'll still be telling personal stories and whatnot in my commentary, and there will be, you know, gameplay talk and whatnot, but, you know, I'll do my very best to make them as entertaining as I usually do, so basically that's the idea going forward. And let's hope that 2021 becomes a better year than 2020, but we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. I'd really like to spend this year, dedicate this year to visiting family and friends. That's most important to me above anything else here, but we'll just have to see. Hoping to get the PS5 eventually soon. And I do have other plans for this upcoming year, but I'll be getting to those more later, because I've already gone for 20 minutes. I don't make this video too long. But either way, the point is, let's say sayonara to 2020, and let's hope for a better 2021. Please be better than 2020, please. Please.